Broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella.
Okay? Like, just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
What's going on, everybody? Happy and welcome into another edition of The Rome Show, broadcasting live on youtube.com/The Romanellas, Twitter X, and Instagram, The Rome Show 1, and Facebook.com/The Rome Show. I am Andrew Romanella. We got a fantastic Wednesday show for the people. It is December 10th. 2025, and we are talking college football bowl games. I got a straight off the Rome for the people. Today, we have to take you through Major League Baseball. A lot of signings and a lot of news happening there. The Indianapolis Colts, they have a new quarterback. We don't know if new is the right word. Well, he's a quarterback nonetheless. And the NBA Cup is heating up. 2 quarterfinal games last night and another 2 quarterfinal games tonight. You know the drill. Get in on the action. If you're on youtube.com, it's youtube.com/The Romanellas. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button while you're there, ladies and gentlemen. And if you feel the need to comment on the show, you can do it right there at youtube.com/The Romanellas. The Rome Show 1, Twitter, X, and Instagram. That's The Rome Show, then the number 1. Pretty self-explanatory. If you're watching the show there, go ahead and type in the comment section. We can have a nice conversation. Finally, facebook.com/The Rome Show. You can listen, you can comment, you can watch. I don't know if I can get the Facebook ones live, so just keep that in the back of your mind. It is in the middle of day 3 and day 4 of Rome Show Giving, so just a friendly reminder that tomorrow we will be giving away another hoodie, okay? This schedule had yesterday and tomorrow. No one won yesterday, so we have 2 hoodies for grabs on December 11th. The question from yesterday that was unable to be answered successfully is hanging behind me on the whiteboard, and it is this. There were 4 quarterbacks drafted first overall in the National Football League that actually made it to the Hall of Fame. I gave you 2 of the 4. I gave you Troy Aikman and Terry Bradshaw. Could you name the other 2 quarterbacks? Would love to know if somebody on today's show could get that. But nonetheless, friendly reminder, the Rome Show giveaway returns again tomorrow. Let's go straight off the Rome. So I got a real bowl. Oh, stop it. I got a real bone to pick with the college football fans, okay? With the college football setup. Maybe, just maybe, I have a bone to pick with college football in general. Now, over the last week, maybe even 2, the primary conversation in college football has been around the college football playoff, and rightfully so. I made mention on the show yesterday while talking to Rocky. If you missed the hockey segment, go to the Rome Show podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, hear Rocky talk about hockey. It's Hockey with Rocky every Tuesday. I made the point to Rocky on the show yesterday that I've been hearing some conspiracy theory type things regarding the college football playoff selection committee, the selection process, who they want in the college football playoff based on the TV deals, the media rights deals, and the fact that ESPN until 2031, 2032 controls essentially all viewership of everything associated with the college football playoff. So there's been a lot of conversation about, well, no wonder Notre Dame didn't make it into the playoff because they're an NBC contract and they're not in a conference, which ESPN broadcasts all the conferences. So this is ESPN backdooredly saying to Notre Dame, why don't you get yourself in a conference? Why don't you engage in a conference like the rest of college football? And then we will give you the coverage like the rest of college football. And selfishly, ESPN, knowing how large of a brand Notre Dame is, wants Notre Dame inside their monopoly of college football broadcasting. So the debates have been on about the SEC schools are in and Tulane shouldn't be in and James Madison shouldn't be in and all of these other things, and rightfully so, debates, because the college football playoff and the college football playoff selection committee are a flawed system. They are. And then you get to the bowl games. I'm 6-6. I've made a bowl game. Whoop-de-doo-doo-doo. I'm playing in the RomeShow.com Radio City Music Hall Pop-Tarts Potato Bowl. I'm 6-6. The team I'm playing is 5-7. That's not cool. So you have two things going on here as we get closer and closer to next weekend and playing the quarterfinals of round 1 of the 12-team playoff. You have a segment of people that just absolutely believe it's embarrassing that Tulane and JMU and all of these people are in. This isn't the 12 best teams. This is ridiculous. How could you let these teams in to get slaughtered? It doesn't matter that they group of 5 won their conference championship. That's the first segment of discussion, conversation, vitriol, anger, whatever word you want to associate with it. The second part of this conversation is now that you have delegitimized everything but making it to the 12-team playoff, there are 10 so far, 10 teams that have turned down the opportunity to play in a bowl game. So for the longest time, we had to care. Oh, this team, they just won their 6th game. Now they're bowl eligible. We had to watch these teams celebrate bowl victories at the Cheetos.com Orange Fingers Bowl like they just won the Natty for the history of time. Now, all of a sudden, the bowl games are stupid. Why would we go play in a bowl game? We only won 7 games. I need to go get ready for the National Football League draft, whatever the case is. So college football, though, changed its model for playoffs roughly 10 years ago to make it more interesting, to make it more, I don't know if fair is the right word, to essentially ensure that you're getting the best, at the time, 4 teams in the college football playoff, now ensuring that you're trying to get the best 12 teams in the college football playoff. The bottom line is college football is trying way too hard. It was trying way too hard on one side of the fence. Everybody gets a bowl game. It's important for the schools. It's for the conference. Dumb. That's always been dumb. I've always been on the side of the bowl games are stupid. It's always been stupid. Why are we doing this? The FCS, formerly known as Division I AA football, has always had this right. They have always had it right with a 16-team playoff and conference championships that matter. Okay? So bowl season's dead. It's over. I don't know what happens moving forward here in college football. I think there's a faction of people out there that is very sad. There are people that love Capital One Bowl Week. They love the opportunity to watch all these college football teams play each other across the nation. They love it. Bowl season's over. I don't know if that's sad, if that's exciting. Part of it's sad because it's the end of a time period in college football that we'll never see again. And though it feels like this is entertaining and cool and fun, going back to the other side of this conversation, the who should be in, who should not be in, how do we choose the teams, will ruin college football. This 12-team playoff, potentially 16-team playoff, which is essentially all we're really trying to do here, is how many more SEC and Big Ten teams can we get into this thing? Primarily SEC. And I read an article yesterday. I retweeted this, the Rome Show 1 on Twitter, written by Jay Busby of yahoo.com. And Jay Busby discusses in this article the importance of JMU, the importance of Tulane, and how if we completely eliminate the opportunity for group of 5 schools to get into the playoff just because we want to put in Miami or Alabama or Vanderbilt or Texas A&M or Ole Miss, because they are bigger names, they're the SEC, we all believe and know that 99 out of 100 times, they're probably going to win that game anyways. Tulane and JMU keep alive what all football watching fans love: the opportunity for the upset, the underdog story, the reason why any other tournament that we watch, especially at the college level, we love. We don't love watching March Madness because we enjoy watching Duke win national championships. That's only if we're a Duke fan. We don't enjoy watching the 68-team bracket just because we want to see if the 4 number ones make it. No. That's the opposite reason why people love March Madness. People love March Madness for the chaos. People want chaos. People want underdogs beating favorites. People want David over Goliath. That is what the fan wants. And when you're talking about college sports, you're talking about fans of one singular school. That's it. There's no, I'm going to be a fan of Auburn and Alabama if Auburn doesn't make the CFP. No chance. I'm not a fan of the Cal Bears because at USC we didn't make it. No. Oregon State don't care that Oregon is good or bad. They don't want them to ever be good. You are rooting for a singular person in college football. And if you are a school promoting Division I football, and of the 300 whatever schools, you're not one of the 30 that makes up the Big Ten or the SEC, how brutal is it for you to sponsor that sport, recruit players, sell the fans, and you know every day you step out there, there's zero chance for you to make it to a national championship? That would then take out the beauty of the opportunity for the underdog, which then in turn takes away a lot of the reason why fanship is fanship. We are watching for the excitement. We don't want to watch every game and know Ohio State. Why was Indiana's win against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship so much fun? Because in theory, that game did not matter at all. They were both going to the playoff, but it was fun because no one thought Indiana was going to win. There was a large faction of people, if not everyone, not from the state of Indiana, that was like, this team's going to get slaughtered. I don't know why. They've won 24 games of their last 26, but it only makes sense. That's Ohio State, the defending national champion. They've been slaughtering teams all year, good, bad, and different. But Indiana won, and people love it. Why do people love it? Kurt Signetti in Indiana? Because they sucked for 100 years. But the problem is, if you didn't join the SEC 50 years ago, you didn't get a chance like Oklahoma to switch conferences. You're not a big enough school like JMU or Tulane to be involved in those conferences. Now you're never going to have a chance to play in the national championship. That hope, taking away that small fraction of a belief to a student athlete pretty much takes away a lot of the passion as to why they do what they do. Go ask any Centenary University baseball player right now, what's our main goal? To win a championship. And that winning of a championship then would get us into the NCAA tournament. There's no other path for this team here. My team's power rankings are not good enough for us to go out there, win 30 games, and they just put us in the tournament. There has to be a path. There has to be a path. For the same school that is Alabama, there needs to be the same path for the school that is University of Alabama at Birmingham, left side, right side, upside down, which we all know those Division I schools exist. It's the end of bowl season, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. What it cannot be, though, it cannot be the end of the little guy. It cannot be the end of David. It cannot be the end of schools that aren't the largest, schools that don't have the most resources. It cannot be the end of the opportunity for the underdog to upset the favorite. I'll leave you with this quote written in Busby's article. This is from ESPN's Booger McFarland. Okay. This is the problem. No one in America, aside from JMU or Tulane, thinks that JMU or Tulane can win a championship this year. Yes, you're correct. And no one in America or the history of college basketball thought that Fairleigh Dickinson University could beat Purdue University, the first ever 16 seed over 1 seed. No one in America thought that Mercer, number 15, could defeat the mighty Duke Blue Devils in the first round, but it happened. Nobody thought St. Peter's could make a run to the Elite Eight from little old Jersey City, New Jersey as a 15 seed, but they did it. Booger, your sport, stupid nickname, by the way. Your sport is not giving chance for the most exciting of opportunities. You and all of your friends that love the SEC so much do not realize that they are ruining the sport. And have you ever thought that there's so much parity in college football now than there ever has been because kids got tired of just going to the same schools? It's fun to me that Vanderbilt's good. How about the fact that University of Virginia? I don't care about Miami. Like, can we all start to agree that Miami just gets played because they're Miami? Like, this is not Miami of the 90s. I'm not watching Michael Irvin run around here, catch the rock. Jeremy Shockey ain't out there. Jimmy Johnson's not coaching this team. This is not the U, but we give them that because they're Miami. Texas, good thing they didn't get in. They sucked. Anyways, I could go on and on. Here, Booger finishes with this. Like, that's the matter of fact, but they're in because we had to include them based on the parameters we were given. I think that's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. You're going to give 2 teams in the playoff. No disrespect to the group of 5. No, that is complete disrespect to the group of 5, you clown. What? Like, I just don't understand how that's cool. Like, you think it's cool that we have hundreds and hundreds and thousands of athletes playing Division I football out there, and just because they're not in the SEC, you don't want to give them a path to the national championship? That's dumb. Are we in high school? Is this the cool kids lunch table comparative to the nerds? What are we doing here, man? Booger, then Nick Saban goes on like this. That are nowhere near, the group of 5 schools are nowhere near ranked as high as some of the other teams that are much better than them. Really? Is that just an opinion, former Alabama head coach Nick Saban? We can learn something from this that will help us come up with a little better criteria of trying to make sure we get the best 12 teams in the playoff. Nick Saban, have you ever, like, you've been a part of sports your whole life. That's not possible. That's not how it works. You don't get the national champion doesn't always have to be the best team in the country, or we wouldn't play the games. If that was the case, Ohio State would be the national champion. I love this. We got to get the best 12 teams in the playoff. It's not possible. That's not how sports work. What you need to do is let the season play out, allow teams to win championships and get in, and have an at-large like everyone else in this country. Have an at-large, and there you go. You want to gift Alabama an entrance into the college football playoff? Here you go. You want to gift somebody else, a Notre Dame, whoever else, an entrance? Here you go. Decide what conferences matter. Allow those conferences to have a conference champion in the playoff. Then determine how many at-large bids you want. And then make that the format. And let's move on. But this asinine stupidity of a committee, these clowns that wear suits that know nothing about football, they're probably athletic directors or on boards or vice presidents. They're idiots is what they are. They're clowns. Just let the sport play itself out like every other freaking sport and then have your at-large bids. I don't understand why it's so hard. Oh, wait. I understand why it's so hard because college football wants as many Southeastern Conference schools playing as possible, which is like, okay, then let's just break them off, make them their own Division I football, and then everybody else will play, and it'll be actually a whole lot more fun to watch. Hope the Rome show is fun for you to watch here on a Wednesday.
Hump Day.
We got some of those Hump Day headlines coming up for you after this commercial break, talking Major League Baseball offseason, NBA Cup, and someone coming out of retirement to help the Indianapolis Colts. So much to talk about here on the Rome show. Back after this.
What is one thing every great leader has in common? They challenge their people to not stop at the first right answer. Tighten the Lug Nuts is a leadership book that will teach you how to move past the first right answer with entertaining and detailed examples founded in real-world concepts and experiences. Accelerate towards your professional goals with Tighten the Lug Nuts, one of the best leadership books available.
Yeah. Welcome back into the Rome show here on a Tuesday, December 10th, 2025. I'm Andrew Romanella. I am the captain of this show. I'll be captaining you for the next 10 or 12 minutes as we give you our
Hump Day.
headlines on a Wednesday. Man, I love that commercial. Those are some of the best commercials. I think is that State Farm? Is it Geico? I think it's Geico. Some of the best commercials. And you know what's funny is, the other day, unfortunately, my fiance got into a fender bender. Nothing crazy. We're all good. The car getting worked on. Sad, but annoying, but okay, as long as you're alive. That's what matters to me the most. But fiance got into a fender bender the other day. And every single person you talk to, because, obviously you can't just get into a car accident or you can't just have something happen and you exchange numbers. I'll pay for it. We'll see you later. No. You got to go through this and that and whose insurance and that insurance and all this other BS. Okay. Sign up on all these things. Insurance talks to these people. It's a joke, right? So I'm sitting there listening to the guy talk to us about how insurance is a scam. Okay. And I'm laughing to myself because I'm like, what's really funny? If I think back on my television watching career, just in the history of my lifetime, just watching TV, I would probably, now this is a bold statement, and you could call this hot take if you want to, but I would argue that if you made a Mount Rushmore of commercials in terms of not a brand, but a genre of employment or a genre of company. The insurance field of commercials is probably Mount Rushmore. Like, if you had to think of some of the best commercials you've watched in your lifetime, one category would probably be commercials for insurance, whether it's Geico or State Farm. I mean, or the guy that creates Havoc, Mayhem guy, whatever. Insurance commercials are not equating to insurance. You're making your commercials so good, they're enjoyable to watch. Can you make your insurance coverage enjoyable to have? Can you make it beneficial for me to have insurance? Or could you just at least equate the entertainment I get from your commercials to maybe the excitement I get from actually using you? Nonetheless, that epiphany hit me yesterday. I'm like, there's not an equation here. And that just goes to show you how marketing can be really good. Because just because they're great at marketing doesn't mean they're good at their jobs. We're hoping the opposite here on The Rome Show, which you can follow on youtube.com/The Romanellas, Twitter X, and Instagram, The Rome Show 1, Facebook.com/The Rome Show. Tomorrow, Rome Show giveaway day number 4, and we are excited about it. Let's get into our Hump Day headlines. All right. Let's start in the National Football League. And we will go with a guy who is no longer in retirement. That man's name is Phillip Rivers. He is coming out of retirement, Phillip Rivers, to be the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. Now, you might be wondering, why the hell would Phillip Rivers be doing this? And why the hell would the Indianapolis Colts be doing this? Well, the reason is twofold. The first one is, besides the fact that Daniel Jones is now out for the remainder of the season with a fibula and an Achilles injury, Riley Leonard, the rookie quarterback out of Notre Dame, came in and got himself hurt in his first game with the Colts. And Anthony Richardson has been on the IR since the beginning of the season, giving Daniel Jones his opportunity to begin with. So the Colts quarterback room is at 0. Well, and you're then wondering, well, why did they go with a Phillip Rivers who's 44 and's been retired for the last 4.5 years? Well, Phillip Rivers, high school football coach, leading the offense. What offense is he running? He's running Shane Steichen's offense from the Indianapolis Colts. How about that? Rumors, reports, whatever, confirm Phillip Rivers, Shane Steichen, they've been talking weekly about this offense as he implements it on his son Gunner's high school team. How about them apples? Phillip Rivers, I don't think he's going to be the answer for the Colts, but he might be able to limp them into the playoffs. I'm thinking Peyton Manning, Denver Broncos. This is exactly what this is about to look like. We continue. We got the NBA Cup going on right now. Did you know that? If you didn't know that, I probably just let you know that. As a friendly reminder, the NBA Cup was something that was created by the NBA last year. I think last year was its first year. I believe the Lakers won the first iteration of the NBA Cup, okay? And it was a tournament designed to be in season. Think international soccer or football, whatever way you want to go about that. In-season tournament designed to create a little buzz about the regular season because for a long while, at least the last decade, we've been trending towards the regular season, really absolutely meaning absolutely nothing to the National Basketball Association. Now, slightly different. The Oklahoma City Thunder are like, what regular season? There's losses that are allowed to happen because they only got one of those. Nonetheless, here's your bracket for the NBA Cup. 2 games happened last night. The Magic, they defeated the Heat 117-108. They move on to the semifinals. By the way, team that wins this, I think each player gets like $1 million bonus, or they get $1 million, a split between their players, something along those lines. Heat, they lost to the Magic 117-108. for the Magic. Though they're dealing with injuries, Franz Wagner is out, I believe, for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Pablo Banchero and crew held the fort down. Desmond Bain, who I don't know if you saw that video the other day throwing the ball at OG Anunoby, 37 points. Pablo Banchero, 18 points, 20 for Jalen Suggs, and it was a 9-point victory for the Magic. Impressive what the Heat are doing, by the way. They're 4-11 right now. This is their starting 5. Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo, Norman Powell, Davion Mitchell, and Tyler Hero. I believe that when you look back on time, this is going to be one of the Eric Spoelstra, one of the greatest coaches of all time. You just don't appreciate it as much. Kind of maybe like Mike Tomlin in a way. Either way, Magic, they move on. Knicks, they move on as well with a 117-101 victory over the Toronto Raptors. That helps them improve to 17-7. OG Anunoby, 13 points. Ja Hart, 21, but Jalen Brunson, he led the way. He was 13-19 from the field, 35 points for the New York Knickerbockers. How about this? 2 players coming off the bench played more than 15 minutes, and another 2 played more than 7. Mike Woodson effects? I have no idea, but nonetheless, the Knickerbockers move on, and we have 2 more tonight. Suns at Thunder and Spurs at Lakers. The NBA Cup continues, and it is a lot of fun. I think the floors are cool. I'm down for all that stuff. Anything to grow the game, make it a little bit more entertaining, I want in. On we continue. Excuse me. All right, let's go to Major League Baseball. We got some signings. We got some draft information. We have all the things. We'll start with the draft. The lottery happened, and this is the draft order for 2026. The Chicago White Sox will be drafting first overall. They win the lottery. These are the top 27 picks in Major League Baseball. If you find your team and you're like, dang, this didn't work out in our favor, just remember, it's Major League Baseball, okay? I'm not saying that draft picks don't matter. I'm not saying that draft capital doesn't matter. I'm not saying that draft position, stock, all those things. I'm not saying they don't matter. What I'm saying is the Paul Skeens, the Dylan Cruzes, the players that make it to Major League Baseball that are immediately in the game without having to go through the minors for a long time, that is a dime a dozen. That is a minority, few and far between. More times than not, your franchise is going to draft a player. He's going to spend 3 to 5 years in minor league baseball, get to that development piece of, we feel like he's ready for the big leagues. Let's get him out there, especially as a position player. The pitchers, they have a little bit more opportunity to get there a little bit quicker, but the position player generally takes a little bit longer to get to that point. So these draft picks in 2026 that you're seeing right now truly might not matriculate till the earliest 2028, 2029, most likely 2030, 2031. So that is why I think there's not as much buzz around the Major League Baseball draft as comparative to the NBA or the NFL, because those players can get right in there and they can play right away. Nonetheless, though, for a franchise for the last 2 seasons that's been struggling big time for the Chicago White Sox. So the New York Yankees last year had changed this policy due to Devin Williams, okay? And I was all on board with it. I've been on board with them changing this policy for the history of time. I personally think it is the dumbest thing ever that the New York Yankees, up until the 2025 season, make everybody shave their face and or only have a mustache. I have no idea why they think that's cool, why they think that's more professional. It's cleaner, it's this, it's that. No, you know what it is? It is dictarian. You're making me do exactly what the guy at the top wants me to do, okay? Why can't I do my job, which is what the guy at the top wants me to do, while also feeling like I can look how I want to look? That makes me as confident as possible. People argue it matters. People argue it doesn't. Man, You got great arguments on both sides. That's not why I'm here. I'm not here to hammer Devin Williams. I'm not even here to hammer the policy of the New York Yankees. Your franchise. Do what you want. You got 27 world championships. Maybe I'm the idiot here, and I should start shaving my face every day because that would make me win some championships. I have no clue. Nonetheless, I am more here to hammer the Yankees franchise point blank, period. You're the New York Yankees. Never in the history of time, ever, for anyone, should you have ever changed that policy last year. Never should you have ever. And now, here you are. What's the old statement? You're standing there with egg on your face. That's exactly what the Yankees are doing right now. You look stupid. Over Devin Williams? Come on, man. Here's the statement from general partner Hal Steinbrenner. In recent weeks, I have spoken to a large number of former and current Yankees spanning several eras. To elicit their perspectives on our long-standing facial hair and grooming policy, and I appreciate their earnest and varied feedback. These most recent conversations are an extension of ongoing internal dialogue that dates back several years. Ultimately, the final decision rests with me, and after great consideration, we will be re-amending our expectations to force our players and uniformed personnel to once again have no facial hair moving forward. It is the appropriate time to move back into the familiar comfort of our former policy. So 9 months was not the trial run that you wanted. What did you expect? You were going to win a World Series? Is it because Devin Williams wasn't good last year? What backbone are you standing on, Hal Steinbrenner? What backbone do you have here? Do you really need to go call former Yankees to decide how you want to run your business? I got an idea. Let's get back to the Yankees of old. Make your decisions. Do what you want to do. Be who you want to be. I feel like I'm trying to motivate one of my players. Like I am so mind blown by the fact that a franchise of this stature, this isn't the Mets, the Kansas City Royals. You're not watching some MLS team. This is not the Sacramento Kings. You're not watching New Orleans Pelicans. This is the New York Yankees. No player, no manager, no personnel figure should ever dictate anything for your franchise outside of the people that should be making those decisions at the top. You're better than that, Yankees. And if this is who you are, don't let any other player moving forward ever allow you to change this policy again. Until ownership changes, if this is how you want your franchise to be, this is how your franchise should be. Let's finish. Here are some signings in Major League Baseball. Kyle Schwarber re-signs with the Philadelphia Phillies, 5 years, $150 million. Edwin Diaz, no longer a New York Metropolitan. He signs with the new New York Yankees, the Los Angeles Dodgers, 3 years, $69 million. According to the reports, the Mets offered Edwin Diaz 3 years, $66 million, some money deferred, but the chance to make that $66 million number go up. Edwin Diaz said, thanks, but no thanks. I'm headed to Los Angeles, where it seems like every player above the age of 30 is going to I'm just going to find my way to the Dodgers. I probably can ensure that I'm going to get a World Series ring before my career ends and then move on. So what's next for the Mets? Who knows? They signed the aforementioned Devin Williams. And that's it. Made a trade for an infielder that is an okay hitter. So a lot's got to be done for the Mets. Their names have been popping up everywhere, but we'll see. Edwin Diaz no longer. Dylan Cease, starting pitcher, signs with the Toronto Blue Jays, a 7-year, $210 million contract. If you were wondering, some names that are still on the market: the Mets, Pete Alonso, Chicago Cubs, Kyle Tucker, and a few teams, but most known for the Houston Astros, Alex Bregman, to name a few. Some smaller name players: Kettle Martell, CJ Abrams, Mackenzie Gore. A lot of movement still to be done in the offseason in Major League Baseball. Currently, the winter meetings are going on. I believe it's Tampa, something like that. It's a warm state. Nonetheless, though, where most of the work will be done in this offseason. So just getting started in the Major League Baseball off season. Hope the people enjoyed the show today. I had a blast, as I always do. College football bowl games are dead. That's a fact. The CFP selection committee is stupid. That's my opinion. Starting to feel like fact, though. You missed any of that, the Rome Show podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Before I get out of here, I want to shout out the Roosevelts for this fire Mickey Mouse hoodie. They sent them to us for our trip to Disneyland. I got to be honest with you, this is one of the most fire things I've ever worn. And I got Mickey Mouse, some coconut trees on here. It looks like a little tennis being played, sunglasses. It's a vibe. All right. Shout out to the Roosevelts for this fire pullover right here. Andrew Romanella, The Rome Show, back tomorrow morning, 7:05 a.m. You have an electric
Update.
till tomorrow. Peace.
Thank you for listening.